Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Stargirl Season 3. So we are officially under the 2-week mark until Stargirl is back on our screens for its third season, might I say. Of course, we've known a handful of things about this season, like the whole, frenemies being like the subtitle, or what do you want to call it, of the season, as well as one of the big parts of the season being this murder mystery. But a lot of the other elements have been kept a secret and will be for us to watch, obviously enjoy, and find out. Now, over the past week or so, we got a couple of pieces of promo material for Stargirl Season 3, which includes some specific things for episodes 1 and 2, as well as all of the titles for all 13 episodes of Season 3. And as you'd expect, some of the titles definitely make you raise or raise an eyebrow or two. So yeah, that's what we're going to be going over in this video. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts, opinions, theories, predictions, all that stuff. Always curious to where you guys are thinking, especially as we, fastly approach the beginning of Stargirl Season 3. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show your support, and you're looking forward to Stargirl Season 3, why not drop a like on the video to do all that? So the first thing, elephant in the room in regards to Stargirl, no new trailer on the 2-week mark, which was a couple of days ago until the new season premieres. So I guess that trailer we got like a few weeks back is the only one we're getting, unless they maybe release one sometime next week, a week before it premieres. That's a wait and see, I guess. I was expecting another trailer, but maybe they don't want to give much away. Maybe that's what's going on. The first trailer contained a decent amount of looks at things, but I thought they still would have released something else just to promote it a bit more, but I don't know. We'll wait and see if we get one next week sometime. Now, of course, in Season 2, we didn't have specific, unique titles for each episode like we had in Season 1 and that you get with most shows. Like, in Season 2, they were just Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, etc. for all 13 episodes. But with Season 3, that changes. There are proper individual titles for each episode, which do give us a hint as to where things are heading and when certain things could be building up. But yeah, here are the 13 episode titles for Season 3 of Stargirl. Episode 1 is The Murder. Episode 2 is The Suspects. Now, those first two titles were already out there because of promo releases, but everything else, at least from the time I'm recording this video, is news. Episode 3 is Blackmail. Episode 4, Evidence. Episode 5, The Thief. Episode 6, Betrayal. Episode 7, Infinity Inc. Part 1. Episode 8, Infinity Inc. Part 2. Episode 9, Monsters. Episode 10, The Murderer. Episode 11, Bullying. Episode 12, the mouthful episode for the season, I guess, Last Will and Testament of Sylvester Pemberton. And then finally, the Season 3 finale, Episode 13, Reckoning. So yeah, that's a good bunch of episode titles. Obviously in Season 1, they were pretty much all like character names, like Wildcat, Hourman, Dr. Midnight, Shining Knight, Stargirl, like Dragon King, or like those, Shiv, like those were the episode titles in Season 1. So they're going to be a bit different in, Season 3, unless there was new characters, but there's no specific characters mentioned there outside of Sylvester Pemberton, who we already know is in this season. Now, in regards to what episodes catch my eye, outside of the opening 2, because I think it's going to be interesting, but we're going to go over some promo material in regards to those episodes in a second, but definitely Infinity Inc. Part 1 and Part 2. I'm assuming that maybe the group of like Courtney, Wildcat and all that ditch the name of JSA and become Infinity Inc., which is sort of like what goes on in the comics. At least that involves characters like Wildcat and stuff like that. I'm curious to see where it goes because it's a 2-parter as well, so it must be a pretty big thing to happen this season. Episode 10, The Murderer, because obviously most likely going to find out, I guess, who is the person who murders the murder suspect. Or the murder victim, might I say, that we'll hopefully maybe see in episode 1. And then definitely episode 12, Last Will and Testament of Sylvester Pemberton, because it makes you wonder, like, it makes you think that, okay, well, that episode title makes you think, oh, okay, well, Sylvester dies, but Sylvester's in episode 2 stuff, which we'll go over in a second. So he mustn't be the one that dies. So very curious to see what that episode entails, what it involves, all that stuff. But yeah, those are definitely the episode titles that catch my eye. If there's one that catches your eye that I didn't mention, let me know in the comment section down below. Actually, quickly, episode 9, Monsters, now catches my eye because obviously we have the whole Helix Institute with Dr. Bones, or Mr. Bones, might I say. So that maybe the monsters come from that, and that's the episode following the two-part Infinity Inc. Episode. So maybe that involves the Helix Institute and some of the things that they've created. That actually now has me very intrigued. But yeah, next up, let's actually get into this promo material for episodes 1 and 2. Of course, we'll start with episode 1 stuff. So we first have the synopsis and then some promo images, and that will be the same for episode 2 as well. But yeah, firstly, here is a synopsis for episode 1 of Stargirl Season 3, the premiere, otherwise known as The Murder. So yes, very ominous. With Starman back from the dead and her former supervillain enemies vowing to reform, Courtney is hopeful that there will finally be peace in Blue Valley. But when the Gambler arrives to town looking to make his own amends, the team finds themselves at odds over whether he can be trusted. So yeah, we knew the Gambler was back. He's in like 1 or 2 shots of that trailer, like some quick shots from the trailer that was released a few weeks ago. So that's not a, oh my god, breaking news. Like, he was already in the trailer. But we were curious when we saw that trailer, like, what's the go? Is he coming back as a villain or what's going on there? But apparently, according to the synopsis, it's going to be perceived at first that I guess he's going to claim that he's coming back not to do bad and sort of like redeem himself and everything like that. And of course, the JSA, Courtney, all them, even maybe like Starman and Pat and stuff are going to be like, well, hold on, this guy, he's a villain. Like, what the hell? He was doing all that stuff only not too long ago during season 1, trying to, mind control half the country. So can we trust him? Or is he just going along with the other ISA members because they just had a stranglehold on him and maybe he isn't that bad to begin with? So I guess we'll learn fairly early on what's going on. Maybe, you never know, maybe he's the murder victim. Like, that could be something that happens there. Maybe he is the one that gets murdered. Maybe he has secrets that someone doesn't want to get out there. So maybe him coming back to Blue Valley opens up the opportunity for that, for them to kill the Gambler. Maybe he's the one that dies. We'll wait and see. Yeah, we have some promo images for episode 1. A bunch of these were already seen because, I don't know if you remember, we did a video on them, but Entertainment Weekly, I think it was, got a bunch of early promo images. So some of them that were released during that drop are in this, episode 1 stuff. And there's a couple from episode 2 as well. But we'll quickly go through them anyway. There's not much really to talk about. So we have the JSA here out on the town. Looks like they've come across something startling, which we did talk about originally. This is like the first one in the drop. So I wonder if this is like meant to be like an opening scene, maybe, in episode 1. I don't know, maybe. Then we have, Sylvester holding the staff in front of Courtney. Seems like he's handing it over to her, not too sure. Then we have the JSA. They look concerned here. This is probably after the Gambler comes in. Like, you didn't even just look on Yolanda's face in this one here. She's like, not going along with this plan, nothing like that. And Rick seems concerned. Beth looks a bit concerned as well. So yeah, maybe this is like after the Gambler comes back in and maybe is asking them not to bash him up and treat him as a normal person and he's not a villain. I don't know. We'll wait and find out. Then we just have a couple of shots like Sylvester with Stripe. We have Sylvester and Pat most likely catching up. Courtney with the staff. Sylvester and Pat in a bit of a discussion, if not argument. And then we have some shots at the end with Courtney talking to Starman. This is probably some training stuff. Maybe even... The one thing I'm wondering if we'll get in episode 1 is Sylvester explaining, like, what the hell happened to him. We saw him die. Pat took the staff and went away. So what happened to him after that moment in season 1, episode 1, in the flashback scene that opened up the entire show? Hopefully we get that explained at least in episode 1 or 2, because I think it's the question that most people have going into like Sylvester's portions of this season. But yeah, now let's move on to the last thing for this video, which is the episode 2 promo material. This episode, as I said before, is called The Suspect, or the Suspects, might I say, plural. So it's a pretty organic follow-on from the episode 1 title and the whole setup there. But yeah, first up, here is a synopsis. After stumbling upon a suspicious murder in Blue Valley, the JSA begin looking at potential suspects. A tense run-in with the Shade makes Courtney and Pat realise that Sylvester's old ways could land them in hot water. Finally, Barbara steps in to help Paula, whose attempt at fitting in has not gone so well. So yeah, they're pretty much saying that the JSA, I guess, literally stumbles upon a murder. So they don't mention the Gambler here. So is it the Gambler? I'm not too sure. But it seems like they're going to rack up the suspect list. And obviously, based off the setup for this season from the end of last season, there is a couple of former/current villains now back in within Blue Valley who would have the means and ways of committing a murder like this. It's not like it's, you know, nothing in their past or anything like that. They definitely have the capability of doing it. But obviously, when they do say that like Sylvester's old ways could land them in hot water, I wonder if I'm assuming that's referencing like the stuff we saw in season 2, when like the whole Eclipso flashbacks and all that. We know how they killed the old Eclipso holder and stuff like that. So maybe that's what they're referring to there. I'd assume that's the case. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see that whole dynamic with not only Pat and Sylvester, but Courtney finally hanging out with the former owner or former mantle holder of the whole, you know, cosmic staff and Starman or Star title and stuff like that. So that's going to be a very interesting dynamic heading into this season. But yeah, to finish off, we have some promo images for episode 2. I think there's the same amount as there was in episode 1. So we have Shiv here, or Cindy, we'll say Cindy, talking to Rick. Obviously, they're at school here, so the school's still going to play a part in this season. I think it was in the trailer for this season as well. They had some stuff in the school. We have Sylvester and Pat. It looks like they're talking to the Shade. You can only see like a blurred out side figure here. It's either the Shade or maybe it could be Sportsmaster or Crusher, or Larry, whichever way you want to put it. It could be him. One of the two, I'd say it's one of those two. Then we have Sylvester with the staff. Obviously, this is going to be a training sequence, which we did see in the trailer for this season. I think this was also one of the images that Entertainment Weekly got early that we went over a couple of weeks ago. Next up, we do have Mike and Jakeem here with the Thunderbolt pen. Obviously, you can see the VFX. Some of the shots, some of the promo images here have VFX on them, and that's because they're actual screenshots from the episode, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, with Mike and Jakeem with the Thunderbolt pen. Obviously, with the going to this season, we know that Seth Green is taking over as the voice of the Thunderbolt pen. So that's like what's his name? Chris Griffin, Dr. Evil's son, you know, all that, you know, those characters, you know. So it's gonna be interesting to see what like the voice is, whether he just sounds like Seth Green or he puts on a voice. I'm not too sure, but yeah. So expect that in, I guess, at least by episode 2, the new voice for Thunderbolt. Then we do have Courtney and Sylvester speaking to the Shade. I'm curious to see what the Shade's role is, because he's a guest star. He's labeled down as a guest star, so he's not going to be in most of the episodes. So he might only be on, you know, in this season fairly early, like somewhere towards the beginning, somewhere towards the end or after the middle or something like that. So don't expect too much Shade, I guess, this season. But I'm assuming if they were going to bring him back, then he might play a decent sized role in regards to like pushing the story along or revealing certain things. Now, there is a shot here of Courtney looking pretty concerned with the staff, and this is her in the same clothes and same area as the previous shot with Sylvester and her meeting with the Shade. So I wonder if something gets revealed here or Sylvester acts a certain way towards the Shade that has Courtney a bit off. Like, I don't really trust that. That's really weird. So Courtney might latch on to Sylvester acting weird pretty early on this season. Then we have a shot of Larry or Crusher or Sportsmaster, whichever way you want to look. And he looks concerned. He looks worried. And obviously they've come into Blue Valley, as we saw at the end of last season. And the trailer also showed them just trying to live a normal life and everything like that. And now there's this murder that happens, and he's going to be, you know, his whole family, him, his wife, his daughter, are going to be towards the top of the suspect list. So he might even be framed for it potentially, or people just think it's him. So he's going to be in a bit of a worry, at least for the earlier parts of this season, you have to assume, following this murder. And then we do have this shot here, which we did see earlier with the Entertainment Weekly stuff, which is Barbara and Paula, or Tigress, cooking away. Once again, I think the concern there with Paula is going to be the same in regards to this whole murder thing. And even with like Barbara's side, it's like, well, hold on, am I interacting with a murderer here? Someone that just murdered someone else in Blue Valley. So even there might be some distrust that goes on and some trust that has to be earned from like the Croc side as well. And then finally, we do have a couple of images of the JSA in Pat's workshop here. And obviously this is probably them going over the suspect list, or maybe even Courtney maybe telling them about her weird interaction with Sylvester. Maybe that's what's going on. I'm sure she would try and pass on that information, try and not hold any more secrets and stuff like that. So maybe that's what's going on here, because once again, Rick, Beth, and Yolanda all look a bit concerned when looking at Courtney here. So yeah, maybe that's her relaying that information on. I think if there is anything sus going on, then maybe she should try and handle that or handle it over and relay it as quick as possible. But yeah, that's it to go over in this video. There's actually a good amount. I think this video's gone on longer than average. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show your support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions about everything we went over. Always curious to hear what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Less than 2 weeks to go until Stargirl's back. Can't wait. But until next video, guys, I'll catch you later. And goodbye.